FloGrappling presented by Fat Tire. We are now set, ladies and gentlemen, for our opening match of the evening in the middleweight division with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first out of the blue corner, representing Revolution Dojo, Houston, Texas. Please welcome Geno Morelli.
MMA career, but testing his skills further in the grappling arena.
That's right, he's also the 2021 IBJJF Blue Belt Nogi World Champion. But this is not your average Blue Belt, Hal, and he's here to put on a show.
No, a former Penn State wrestler, 2-0 in MMA, now a purple belt, and often training with the B team in Austin, Texas. Looking forward to seeing what Geno Morelli has for us here at Texas was number 1.
And his opponent out of the red corner, representing 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, Austin, Texas. Here is Kemoy Anderson.
Another representative of the esteemed 10th Planet Network, originally hailing from New York, now based in Austin, Texas. Kemoy Anderson brings a wealth of grappling experience to Who's Number 1, Chase.
That's right, Kemoy was keen to say that while he respects Morelli's wrestling credentials, this is a jiu-jitsu match, a submission wrestling match, and he has better skills to take home the victory.
Our head referee, Gabriel Martins, is in the center of the mat, ready to get things underway here. The last second instructions for our competitors, backed up by a very powerful team indeed of referees and judges. And we're about ready to get things underway here at Tezos Who's Number 1.
Let's go, guys.
Fight! Clock starts, 15-minute match. Big question is, of course, will it go the distance? We also have Kendall Rusing here on the call with us. Kendall, once again, helping to bring that technical expertise and help break down some of the biggest moments here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's interesting to note that Geno got his purple belt in January of this year, so it is a purple against a brown belt, but it's a brand new purple belt as well, just this month. So I'm really excited to see how they match up.
You know, I do wonder, though, if that makes a difference here at Who's Number 1, because the belt system in jiu-jitsu is incredibly important. It's a huge part of the tradition of grappling, but these are not your average grapplers, right? Are the belts really reflective of their skill level?
It's hard to say, but we did just see the 2021 Grappler of the Year award go to a, well, he was a brown belt for most of that year, but now he's a black belt kid, Rotolo. So, to your point, Hal, yeah, maybe it is. The discrepancies are shifting.
One thing I really like seeing here is Geno's use of a really heavy collar tie with the right hand. He obviously has a very strong wrestling background, but big, heavy snaps here and kind of reaching between the head and the leg, setting up, making sure to play off the head and leg with each other.
And of course, this is a submission-only match. No points for takedowns, no points for control positions or pins. The objective is to use those techniques to control your opponent in search of a submission. But is anybody here? Oh, okay, now I was going to say, is anybody surprised that Kemoy was feeling out Morelli's wrestling for so long? Because you would have imagined that the jiu-jitsu guy would be quick to pull guard, but the opposite was true.
A quick show at a leaping guard pass there from Morelli. I think Kemoy might have just been warming up, right? No better way to get us sweating than to wrestle, especially when points aren't a factor.
Big pressure here from top position already. It's a half butterfly guard, and he's already got the underhook and the powerful crossface here on top.
I really love this position for Geno, but one thing that wrestlers oftentimes have a hard time with is dealing with these half butterfly hooks, like Kemoy has with his left leg here, because you feel like you're smashing through the guard, but at any moment you're going to be elevated and flipped over. Of course, you know, he is a jiu-jitsu guy too, so don't want to downplay that, but wrestlers, I find, and myself included, have a hard time adjusting to that, and so he gets put back into like a more full butterfly guard here, as we're seeing.
Now you have to wonder if Morelli brings his hips high, will Anderson look to go underneath in search of a leg? But as we mentioned, Morelli, he's based in Houston. He has been seen training on the mats with Craig Jones and the team there, the B team in Austin, Texas, is fast becoming one of the hottest destinations for any no-gi grappler all over the world.
I really like the use of he's trying to shut down the left underhook of Kemoy. Geno's trying to like either close the whizzer or swing back inside, but that underhook is so powerful that it continues to elevate him over, and so he chooses to back out instead of continue to drive forward. Probably a smart choice to disengage.
Morelli on the outside, of course. will have to stay engaged with his opponents. A little reminder of the rules here, who's number one, that we do not permit stalling, passivity, or a lack of engagement, but not an issue so far, because those resets, they're an important part of the strategy.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Am I looking to wrap up an ankle here?
Straight ankle.
Ooh, big kick out for Geno. That was really smart using the pressure on the hamstring, but big pressure now.
Sorry, I decided that he came up on top so quickly, and this is actually great for him, right? Because the best thing you want to do with the wrestler is put them on their back. And let's see what Morelli has from guard here.
Man, you know, it is not easy to put a wrestler on their back, much less hold them there. And Morelli doing a good job of framing away and resetting back up to his feet. That was an interesting tactic there from Anderson, using those legs, to, as you said, Chase, to get to top position. Maybe that was his chance. And Morelli, I'm not so sure that he's going to let that happen again.
I think it was pretty clear Geno didn't want to play on the bottom.
Morelli's past the guard here now.
Wow, full pass here, cleared both the legs and the hips. And great body lock control with the right hand and head control with the left hand. Very strong crossface.
Of course, the control positions can lead to any number of attacks, but simply pinging your opponent is not enough necessarily to win here at Texas who's number one, because you need to be advancing your position and putting your opponent in danger. That's the key, right?
Absolutely. And you have to wonder at this position if we'll see a look at a buggy choke. I feel like 2021 was the year of the buggy choke, right? We saw it everywhere. But Kemoy so far has had no interest in trying that yet.
Yeah, and we're going to find out, too, in about 30 seconds who the judges are favoring. It doesn't mean that it goes by rounds or if they're being, counted as a vote or anything like that. But we will find out at the 5-minute mark what the judges are thinking, where they're at, kind of give an indication of who they think is in control of the match so far. Big forearm there as he's looking for the underhook or the head wrap or the hand on the other side of the body. But Kemoy doing a great job with his frames. Up until now, he wasn't able to reach this.
Okay, so far, I think that maybe this extended period in side control right here and the guard pass, probably the most effective grappling that has taken place in this match so far. The near reversal from Anderson there earlier, now looking to advance by going to the knee right as well. The key here, though, is we know that Morelli likes chokes. We've seen him at the No-Gi World Championships in last October. He demonstrated that, as many wrestlers do, they come in and they're able to adapt the head control so easily and start picking up things like DOS and front headlocks. And Morelli, man, also at the ADCC trials, he was putting people to sleep with those. So I think Anderson's going to be very aware of those.
Yeah, Morelli looks to maybe be chasing the back, settles him out instead. In a very dominant position here at the 9-minute mark. Strong showing from a brand new purple belt.
What do you think, Kendall? I'm interested to hear your take on that, whether the mount will offer him a better opportunity to finish this match than side control may have.
Yeah, I think so, absolutely, because Kemoy is doing such a good job with the frames on the bottom. I think it's hard to tell if you're not used to feeling the pressure of like a really great wrestler in the top pinning position, but it is he was fighting very hard to escape side control there. It didn't look like a lot was happening, but he was really, really working to escape. So now I think from this top half guard position, Kemoy is going to be working to swim that left half butterfly back inside, but if he can't, the pressure is going to be very strong here, including the hand over the mouth control by Morelli with the left side.
Yeah, he's using that smother and
forearm in the neck.
Now the forearm and the neck, but it's an important tactic as well. We saw the Ruotolo brothers use it so much last year, and it's become one of those things, hasn't it? That it's entered the kind of the common grappling parlance that everybody seems to be going for it. But now Anderson's on his side. This is good. If we get in a little bit closer, we can see the important details here. But the angle here, he's got that little bit of a knee sheet. He's got the underhook, but Morelli's pressure is so heavy. He's killing that underhook.
Yeah, and there was a very, very brief look at a Darce there for a second. We see him maybe threading that again. He's definitely thinking about it, but so far Kemoy's doing a good job of keeping that underhook high. If he lets it drop, though, that could be dangerous.
Yeah, Morelli's doing a great job at headhunting when the re-guard is threatened. So Kemoy's looking for a half guard, he's going for the underhook, and then we see Geno searching for the head each time. It kind of makes Kemoy bail from the guard recovery or the sweep and then start defending his neck, which opens the pass back up, which is exactly what we're seeing here.
Exactly what we see, but that was a great escape there from Kemoy Anderson, going for the shoulder crunch, going high here. Manages to get that underhook to work for the first time, really. And in a much better position from which to counterattack. And I gotta have to say, I'm very impressed by Anderson's composure on bottom. Has never panicked under some serious pressure. And man, he's answering straight back with his own attacks.
Yeah, great defensive awareness from Kemoy there. But Morelli really controlling the pacing of this match. Been fairly dominant positioning throughout. Kemoy's going to have to get off some real offense here if he wants to turn the tide.
Yeah, again with that left side half butterfly. So we know this is a very strong position for Anderson. He's not only used it to escape, but starting to look to get some sweep pressure to elevate and get underneath. It will be interesting to see if he goes in for the legs. I think that shoulder crunch position is working very well for him, but entering the legs or trying to put Morelli on his back, I think is going to be the answer here.
That's a good squeeze. That's a great clinch there from Anderson. See that Morelli is trying to posture up out of it, trying to shake his hips a little bit as well. Full butterfly guard with that shoulder crunch. Could see a reverse arm lock here.
Yeah, I'm really trying to rotate his right elbow inside so that he can take the pressure off the shoulder and the elbow, but very hard to do, and Anderson's keeping his left elbow so tight.
Anderson, I think, maybe aware of that arm lock. You see, he's not trying to pull his head up and out just yet because that could expose the arm. Doing so on his terms, but he's going to have to be careful of that elbow. Dangerously exposed here.
I think Morelli's being very smart and patient here. You don't want to try to rip your arm out of this too hastily because that arm lock is getting tight, but now the patience paid off. He's back into some heavy pressure again with this crossface.
And always passing to the same side, we see. And this is very common, isn't it? That everybody seems to have a preferred side in grappling. But look at that. Uses the opportunity to jump over to the other side.
He heard you. Jumped right over here.
Very possibly. Look at the hand all the way around the back as well, Kendall. You can see that Geno Morelli's left hand all the way around the waist. That's going to make it very difficult for Anderson.
Judges favor Geno Morelli.
So the second judge's favor goes to Geno again. Not a surprise here. He's been very dominant on top. Back into the mount, which I agree. I think this is a better finishing position for him than side control. But Anderson doing a great job of continuing to recover half guard on both sides now. But he is locking up an arm triangle here. If we see his right arm's very, very tight, going to try to walk the left arm up and maybe swim his head to the other side of the armpit.
Yeah, as soon as that elbow starts coming away from the ribs like that, it's dangerous, right? You can see that Morelli, if he gets his right ear to the tricep of Anderson's right arm, you can kind of see Anderson's, I think, a little frustrated here. He's a little kind of, what I got to do here? The guy's going to attack or not? But I think, man, you gotta work just as hard to escape as the guy has to work to hold you down, right?
Yeah, when there's a submission in play, a referee cannot really, decide if they're stalling because he's working for a submission, right? It's typically the rule there. So I think Geno was being pretty active.
Getting maybe a little overcommitted there from Geno, but good job. Facing back into Kemoy there.
One thing I know from experience, though, is like trying to beat a wrestler in that dogfight position is nigh impossible. But you see that Morelli escapes unscathed.
It's probably the worst position to put yourself in with a wrestler is a dogfight position. Whether you have the wizard or the underhook, it's really, really difficult to control. But it almost looked like Kemoy was going to look for the back at that point. It was pretty close. But another big set of heavy pressure from Geno once again.
Yeah, definitely not afraid to make things a little gritty. You love to see it. It's the kind of aggression we like to see kick off the night here at WNO.
Nice inversion here, Mike Kemoy. Looking, he's in on the leg. He is in this cross-archer position, attacking the top leg, and almost losing the knee line, though.
He's doing his best to suck it back in, but Geno seems to have extracted himself. But great look from Kemoy there, mixing things up and using the pressure to his advantage when he can.
Yeah, that's absolutely, I think, a better path to victory for Kemoy if he can invert again and go into that cross-ashi position or into the legs. But Geno had a great awareness of it, too. As soon as he felt in danger, he started clearing the knee line and moving his knee out of danger.
You don't need to be an expert, right? You don't need to be a leg locker, but training with some really good leg lock guys at least gives you that situational awareness of how to escape unscathed, right? Again, that shoulder pressure driving forward there onto the chin.
I really love the use of of Kemoy's half butterfly on the left side. It's just keeping him safe. But it's not seemingly enough to fire off his own attacks other than that one, the one almost sweep and then the one almost cross, or the cross Ashi attempt. So I hope we see him try to get into that same position again.
Back on the outside. Anderson tries to draw Morelli in. He's got the wrap on that other arm now. Rather than fighting for the underhook, he's got the deep overhook now. Of course, that opens up his own series of attacks.
Just 2 minutes remaining now left in this match, and you love to see this kind of work rate from both these guys. Really non-stop action throughout this entire match so far.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to see a lot from Anderson if he hopes to turn the tide. So, you know, with 140 left, I think we can expect a bit more insistence here from him. Maybe going high with that leg, looking for a triangle here. And it's almost on, but his right leg is trapped.
Oh, look at this. He could go for the omoplata or even a go-go plata here. The classic 10th Planet series of attacks.
His right leg is trapped underneath. He's going to have to free his right foot to get these attacks off.
Testing the flexibility of Anderson. Anderson loses the ankle on the top of the back, and Morelli postures up out of danger. With 1 minute left, I feel that was maybe Anderson's chance, and it's going to be hard to get him back into those kind of positions. But Morelli needs to stay busy. He needs to go forward.
Yeah, one thing about really high-level wrestlers is the pace is really, really hard to match. So Morelli, look, I mean, he hasn't slowed down. He knows he's ahead, or at least he feels confident he's ahead, but he's moving back and forth. Oh, big cartwheel into the close guard.
You know, let's remind our viewers that 15 minutes is a long time to sustain that kind of effort, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we think about, you know, IBJJF the longest matches there are 10 minutes, so it's not many organizations you see go longer than that. Most competitors don't train for longer than that unless it's a specific event like this.
Well, I mean, you've been there. You've been in these matches to go on the 15 minutes and longer, and you know better than anybody the effort required to compete to that level.
Big guillotine attempt here from Anderson. No, he doesn't have his right arm under. He has his right arm behind the leg. Interesting grip there with 10 seconds left. Yeah, 15 minutes, very long time. You have to train specifically for it or you're not going to be prepared. Absolutely.
Time will expire here in our first match of the evening at Tezos, who's number 1. We will go to a decision. Our referee, Gabriel Machines, will bring them into the center of the mat. Now, it is unanimous for blue, Geno Morelli.
Your winner by unanimous decision, Geno Morelli.
Former Penn State wrestler, professional MMA fighter, and now victorious at the Tezos, who's number 1 mats. A pretty powerful display. What did you make of that?
Like you said, powerful is the word that comes to mind. Amazing pressure, great passing all around, good submission awareness. I think it's just the beginning for him here, who's number 1.
Well, hopefully we'll get a look at some of the best moments. Here we are, a little replay of the action here. And Morelli, it's pretty clear, and Kendall, I'm sure you would recognize that wrestling transitioned very well into the grappling arena.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're wrestling, I think wrestlers have 2 big challenges when they come in. Not getting guillotined and triangled, and then not getting put on their back. And he did a great job of both here. Great awareness, great attacks.
Ooh. A little look at the legs there and trying to go high with the shoulder crunch, but Morelli was able to handle all of those. Well, it's time to hear from our winner, Geno Morelli. Put that headset on if you can, please, Geno, so we can talk to each other. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
We can indeed. Thank you very much. Man, what an excellent performance here. Our first match of the evening at Tezos, who's number 1. And I gotta say, for anybody who wasn't aware, they probably would have deduced pretty quickly from watching you compete that you have a wrestling background, and you were able to take that skill set and you've made that transition into grappling very well. Tell me, how's it gone for you?
Yeah, it's going good. I was hoping to stand up a little bit more in this match. Try and hit some flashy stuff on my feet. still trying to advance my submission game. I do a lot of front headlock stuff, so I was looking for that, but he had a good base on his butt. It was hard to pull him to his knees and get him to turtle. So really good job by him.
There were some interesting technical exchanges in that match there. There were a number of submission threats that you seemed to shut down early and you were able to escape from. But tell me, what do you think was the key to victory for you in this match against Anderson?
I think for me, just holding position well, and I could tell that he was going to explode as soon as I let go of his back when I was in side control. So I was trying to cinch him down. This is my first time doing a 15-minute match. Wrestling 7, so trying to conserve energy and make him tired working off bottom.
Well, an excellent performance indeed here, and just goes to show that that transition is going pretty well for you, huh? From wrestling to MMA, and now here to grappling. Who's number 1? You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, I would have liked to have it been a little bit more of an exciting match. So next time I'm here, I'll try and make it a little bit more flashy for you guys.
Well, we look forward to it. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Geno Morelli.
Thank you.
That's it, our first match done and dusted here at Tezos Who's Number 1, but we have more coming up. A light heavyweight match, Michael Pixie versus Cameron Reed. We'll be right back.